My name is Tim Carter, and this is a new presentation, a feature called Answers in Koine. And of course, this is a branch from iamkoine.org, and this is Dr. Eddie Johnson, long-term colleague in the faith, actually discipled me when we went to seminary, and he was there long before I got there. So, and,
Don't make me feel like an institution now.
no, I won't.
Okay.
But you feeling that way is not in my control. So
True.
it's so we want to give some clarity, looking back over 4.5 years of I Am Koine. We received a lot of feedback, a lot of body of material, but it seems to be we come back to the same thing. We come back to our hermeneutics, our apologetics, which goes to our theology, and to our grammar, which is our languages, the Bible languages.
Right.
So.
Right.
We have a lot of alarm reaction to things that people doesn't occur to them.
Right.
In hermeneutics, define your term, or in language. So
correct. And these really are the four pillars.
Absolutely.
That's what everything comes back to. We can spend time arguing over categories that really are not found in Scripture, and everybody can think that we're experts because we do that, but that's not how we were taught, and that's not how we were trained at the Missionary Baptist Seminary, and that's not what we've done as we've gone forward.
Our theology teacher preferred the words in the Bible.
That's right.
He didn't ask us to form and make our own words. So
correct.
And we did lexical-syntactical analysis in grammar. What's the chief feature of Bible languages that you've noticed overlooked so often?
Oh, well, there are several. Number one, there is just the contextual situation. Most people don't think about the context. They don't understand. Well, I say that. We do this every day in everyday communication. And that is, we understand that a word is defined by its use within its own context. But for some reason, when we go to the Bible, we throw that idea out the window.
Exactly.
So the very first consideration is context. And then we want to go into, as you've put it, the inflectional morphemes. We want to go into the actual grammar. What is the actual grammar as far as the tense and the mood and the voice and the person and the number? What is that saying within that context, and how is that being affected by that context?
Well, especially with Koine being highly inflected.
Highly inflected.
Well, even biblical Hebrew, when we ignore those, well, the things it emphasizes in the language were adrift from the beginning. So
right.
It is striking that in hermeneutics, it's context, define our terms. In language, it's morphemes, inflectional morphemes, kind of action, the emphasis there. And then in theology, we have categories that are already there in our lexicons. And we contend with category formation, endless formation. Some of it, which we are guarded, but we consider it jargon. It's so far removed from the Bible.
Correct.
It becomes just endless, and we can't even tie it to a Strong's number. Even if you weren't a Greek or Hebrew user, you can't even find a number associated with the terminology. The categories are endlessly forming, and we're more and more removed. And then in apologetics, the rationale isn't based on any of the three things we mentioned. So
wouldn't you say that what we really are hoping to accomplish by the things that we're doing at I Am Koine, and particularly now going into the apologetics, is to bring people back from the brink of the categories
absolutely.
that man has created and formulated, and just bring them back to the Scriptures?
Yeah, it's like you said, we're reintroducing the Bible all over again, because the alarm that we've noticed that people are bantering, and neither one of them necessarily know any corresponding reality of that term. What does it mean? Where does it appear in the Bible? If it does appear in the Bible, how many places does it occur? What's its context, as you said? So I guess we're building an onion layer at a time away from the original text. Or we say original, we mean the original languages. We certainly are referring to extant copies and things.
Right.
Well, anyway, that's our first somewhat of a, what do you say, a summary of the core elements in Answers in Koine. Try to give more clarity, especially us working together. We have publications forthcoming. We'll be working on poimeinic apologetics, and that is or poimeinic apologetic, that's pastoral.
Right.
And then the hermeneutic will be, as we were trained in, a holistic approach.
Right. Yeah.
The theology will be a categorical approach, and then our grammar, our language will be a lexical-syntactical analysis approach. So that yields a great return on Bible knowledge.
Boy, does it ever.
And learning what the Bible was about originally. And it seems to be much more concise. So from what we've learned, there's quite a reaction.
Well, one thing I've learned is that when you're spending more time studying the Bible than you are the categories, you don't have time to spend studying the categories.
Oh yeah, all the different constructs and form categories. And well, I mean, it seems to be, I don't know why, but it appears people don't want to be left out of the conversation.
Correct.
I tell people I've been called out, and
Yeah.
God's people have been called out, and we aren't to so remove ourselves from the scriptures that when we talk, it has no, it's the language of Ashdod. So, all right, that's enough for today, and that's a good introduction, and thank you, Brother Johnson.